Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Proving Grounds. We are going into game number 2. Team Pending and CLG Faith looking to take it to the Rift to slug it out again. But, man, oh man, Team Pending brought in some spice and everything nice inside of game number 1.
Yeah, that's really everything you want to see from one of these kind of makeshift amateur teams without an org. Spicy drafts, good gameplay, upset win against an established org. It checks all the boxes, really. It's exactly what you want to see. Team Pending coming out strong in game 1. But I will say that CLG Faith was down 0-2 in the open qualifier, and they came back 3-2 to qualify for the tournament. So they clearly have experience with their back against the wall. They have experience making adaptations on the fly. So I would not be surprised to see them come at this game with a wholly different approach to draft and a different approach to the game, because I think they realize that maybe the cheese is a little bit too strong.
Yeah, the cheese is a bit strong, and when you're facing a team that just, it's down to play anything, really, it does throw your draft for a big wrench. It does make you question a lot of things, and I like the point that you highlight. They went 0-2 and then turn around and 3-0 the next day. That shows some mental resilience. That shows that this team is able to assess that, okay, we got beat by this one thing that ended up happening. We do get to see a side swap. I'm wondering what the reset is going to be. We need to see if they're able to do that same process in the same day, inside the same series, because now they are the ones against the wall and they don't want to get sent down to the lower bracket, as you were talking about in our previous series, because this group is so intensely close. You don't want to be that person to go up there and your nets matches for elimination.
Exactly. It's so much added pressure. So being able to keep yourself alive in the upper bracket, give yourself a little bit of breathing room, it goes such a long way. It really, really does. But focusing on this next draft, I think that with the side swapping, this does favor CLG, because I think last game they got a little bit flustered with the picks that were coming out from Team Pending. And being on blue side, you get a lot more flexibility to ban whatever you want because you have the first pick potential. So you can ban Rengar. You could maybe ban Ivern. You could try to get rid of Gangplank if you think that Toppa was a problem last game. You have a little bit more room to also get an early top lane pick for Draco, because we saw that his champion pool got pinched. And ultimately, he was not really able to do all too much on the Tryndamere in that last game. He couldn't get a lead in lane. He couldn't do much in team fights because his team had fallen behind already. And so I would really like to see CLG go back to the drawing board, revamp what they're doing in terms of what picks they're banning, and then also, change up their top lane pick and get Draco something he's a little bit more comfortable on, something he can make some plays on, because he has so much potential.
Yeah, has so much potential, and it is hard to do that when there's just 3 bans thrown at you. Like you were talking about with Team Pending, they have a strategy, and it was to target one of the new players, fluster him. And it's a strategy that comes from a group of veterans, really and truly. They know what it was like back when they started, how it felt to be targeted. And they've seen the success of that strategy over and over and over again. So Draco has to figure out a way to deal with that. I do want to highlight, Town had a fantastic showing, though.
Certainly
Oriana did a great job. And Ivern Rengar, there's a lot of pressure mid lane all of a sudden.
Yeah, honestly, he was getting ganked starting at 3 or 4 minutes into the game. We saw that failed dive that did give him a little bit of a lead in the lane, but he played very well, right? It was 3-1 and 2 at one point, had some fantastic shockwaves. It was just too little too late, right? As soon as you reach a certain critical mass, the Rengar just cannot be killed, and it doesn't matter how far ahead you are, because the Rengar can just tank your burst and he can kill you right back. So hopefully in this game, the game is a little bit more even, and Town can really show off his stuff this game, because he's a very skilled player alongside Draco, alongside Aaron. The whole entire roster of CLG Faith has so much potential. That's why this roster was created in this manner. Just so many future prospects to look forward to over the next couple of years of Amateur Academy, potentially LCS. And we're going to have to see what kind of game changes they make in Game 2's draft.
Yeah, every player here is a prospect, and we'll see what it is. Like we said before, they are flipping sides. I personally want to address the cat in the room, and I was already banned away.
There we
Rengar, go. Get rid of it.
Yeah, just get rid of that. Don't even worry about it, because if you're CLG, you clearly came in with a set game plan of what you want to play and what you're expecting to face. And Rengar was not on that list. It probably was not. Kitsuo has it in his solo queue. He's played it before, but the Ivern Rengar is really not something you're going to account for. So the fact that they're willing to ban it, I like it. That's why you picked blue side. And moving into their second ban, they could maybe look to get rid of something that was also annoying. They're going to maybe opt for Topo's Poppy, what he's known for.
Yeah, Topo's Poppy is good. I think it's actually one of those sleeper OP picks too, where it's actually incredibly strong with so many champions with blinks and dashes and stuff like that. The changes they made to Poppy, it's disgusting. You can actually hard carry a game with Poppy, and it's actually just, like I said, disgusting is the word. So they have to pay respect. I'm curious if they leave the Wukong open and possibly take it for themselves.
Yeah, I think that is the adaptation that you go for, right? You get rid of Gangplank, you leave open Wukong, and you try to take it as your first pick. Then, things get interesting for Team Pending. Do you ban Wukong and leave up Draco's top laner? They banned Camille here previously. I personally would probably give up the Wukong and ban Camille, because you know that Draco is really good at Camille, but the Tryndamere game left a lot to be desired, right? So I'm okay giving over Wukong to Baeko if it means keeping Draco off of one of his signature champions. They probably, knowing TBA, have some response to Wukong that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, because we've talked about it time and time again. This is a roster of people. They've been around the map. They know what champions do inside of League of Legends. They are completely prepared. But this is a champion that was banned last time.
True.
The Senna locked in.
Yeah, very, very good point to bring up. Senna was banned last game. We haven't really seen Senna at all too much. It's been a champion that has been banned in most games that have been shown so far in Proving Grounds. And the counter pick with the potential Lucian getting just power picks across the board, Wukong still up and available. Oftentimes you don't really want to pick Lucian and Wukong together, because you don't want to force that mid-jungle, both AD. You'd have to put the Lucian bot lane, which would be weird. Annie being hovered. Jhin would surprise me a lot. I would expect an AP jungler here. Maybe even Karthus again.
Yeah, I think if you look in the TSD, you go Karthus, there you go. Yep. It's easy, it's flexible, it can go jungle, mid, and bot. So I think that's a great pickup for them. Don't test my heart with an Alawi hover. Yeah, just just go ahead and go to the Wukong, because that makes the most sense with what CLG Faith would want.
Yeah, I could see something like Wukong Orianna, maybe Wukong Syndra. I'd imagine you want to take your mid laner now, otherwise Town is going to get targeted down. And he played so well on the Ori. It's great with Wukong. It can synergize well with the Senna, but you're going to take the Tahm Kench pairing. More than likely, it's going to be that Tahm Kench pairing, and like you were saying, it's a solid, stable pairing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ideal pairing, right? Every time we see Senna, do we not see a Tahm Kench, right? Like, it makes the most sense, but this does mean that you're going into Lucian Nami more than likely.
Yeah.
So that can be a very scary lane.
Yeah, you can look to blow up the Senna very fast, right? Tahm Kench does not get access to the Devour until level 6 now, whereas it used to just be one of his basic abilities. You could take it right at level 2, level 3. So the fact that you're going to have so much power and strength into a weak early Senna lane and a Tahm Kench without Devour, you could look for a kill or two before Tahm Kench is able to unlock that ultimate. But now, shifting towards the phase 2 of this draft, Vladimir banned, another champion away from Draco. Are we just going to see 5 top lane bans, Travesty?
I think so. I think that's the way that Team Pending is going to treat this. They're going to out Draco. Draco's a really mechanically skilled player, but he's new to competitive, so let's make sure he can't be comfortable. I think it's a valid strategy.
There it is. 5 bans.
Yeah, 5 bans. Do it.
Yeah, and then if you count the other side, that's 8 top lane bans. We know that Topo has a champion Ocean. This guy is anything under the sun, and he picked Shen here. I really do like that. This could also be a top lane Wukong for Draco, right? So we've been talking a lot about the fact that his picks have been banned out. It could be a top lane Wukong. I would be quite surprised to see that. Akali being hovered is interesting, because that means you're probably putting it into Shen, unless you're blinding Akali. Malphite being hovered. I don't know how I feel about that, Travesty, and it's locked in.
Yep, throw some cheese wheels, baby. See if this Shen is going to be lactose intolerant. But this hover coming in is a spicy one in of itself. If this is locked in, a Yone to get rounded out of this composition would be very curious indeed. And it's locked. It's an aggressive mid lane pick. We got some very aggressive mid lane matchups.
All right, so let's dissect this draft piece by piece. Let's start over with CLG Faith's team composition. So it's Malphite. They might swap Malphite into Yone if they prefer that matchup. I will, however, say that Yone actually can do okay into Malphite in the early lane phase. You've got the true damage. Malphite's pretty squishy early on. We'll have to see what CLG does. They're solo laners, Malphite Akali. They're not winning lane with these picks, but they can kind of be disruptive, get onto the back line, be annoying to deal with in the actual game itself. It does seem like it's going to be Draco on the Malphite. They might lane swap. We'll have to see. Baco on Wukong. It's just a stable jungler, right? It's able to get onto the back line with the Akali, with the with the Malphite. And then you've got the backline support from Aaron on the Senna, able to launch the ultimate to get over the top of things. Tom Kench. They've got a pretty solid composition, but you look over at the side of TBA, and Malphite doesn't have a massive amount of value to me. It's good into Lucian, but he can dodge the ultimate. It's good into the immobile Nami. That's fine. Yone can get oppressive for the Malphite. Karthus obviously loves facing into Malphite, right? You're coming right into him. You're not going to build MR. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these compositions interact. TBA with a comfort spice draft and CLG with sort of another stock standard draft, but you throw Malphite in.
Yeah, I would say one of the things I do like though is the fact that CLG Faith, one of the things that they see is Draco was constantly hovering around in these team fights and couldn't find an option to go in. Tryndamere not known for his team fighting prowess. You know, Malphite, hey, it might play to the style that he's looking to do for what the team is calling for. So, yeah, hey, hike. See if you can go in there, break some legs, go for it. But it is going to be difficult, especially because, like you were talking about, Kitsio he's going to play a first strike variant of Karthus, which means he's going to be hitting his Luden spike that much quicker. And that means his magic penetration that he's going to build up right out the get-go is going to be tremendous. He's going to just be power farming his way through this game.
Yeah, Muddy Karthus is a strategy that, you know, since First Strike has been in the game, it's really, really nice. As soon as you get some AP under your belt, a solid ultimate onto the enemy team can generate, you know, 100 to 250 gold at really any point in the game, and the ultimate is not that long of a cooldown. So I do like the fact that Katsuo is opting towards First Strike. It can help you, you know, hit your item spikes a little bit quicker. One thing that
Futures market too, right?
Yeah, like, that is a good
disgusting
point. That is a great point. One point that just kind of dawned on me is the fact that 5th pick there for Robbie Bob, I think Silas actually had a decent amount of value. It's picked into Akali kind of on its own, and then also you'd be able to steal Malphite ult, which is one of the best ults in the game. But that's not really a Robbie Bob champion, so it doesn't surprise me opts towards Yone. He loves Yone. This is a character that he is very comfortable on. He's played countless games on, in combines that I've seen him play in solo queue. And so we're going to have to see, right? This veteran duo, Robbie Bob, Kitsuo, they've been around the block. They play collegiate together currently. How comfortable are they on Yone Karthus? Because this combo can take over a game.
It can, but it does take time, right? You're looking at those items yet again to try and get that spike. It's not the same early game presence that you had inside the last game.
That is an excellent point, right? It's going to take a minute or two.
Ooh,
by that I mean
a lot.
Yeah, ooh, Trevor looking for something cheeky. They lose the level 2 advantage. Lucy and Nami, that's quite surprising that you don't secure level 2 first, but they're zoned off the wave, and that's going to give Aaron some time to farm up some souls.
Yeah, look, it's fasting Senna time, baby. He can do that, and this is exactly to what CLG would like to do.
Oh, the damage!
My God, Aaron the Ignite! He gets a little bit of healing back. Trevor trying to see if he can solidify the remaining bit of the kill.
Oh, dodges the Q.
He has to flash onto him. He gets it. Aaron finds first blood, and they're continuing the aggression. But the minions,
supportal combat,
enemy of Aaron. The tower shot is not going to be there. Chookies has to flash for safety.
Yeah, wow, that is just These fights are so intense. I actually don't think Masu realized how much damage. Oh, the shuriken!
Town! He calls
Wow!
Ignite! Throw those kunai knives, Town! Putting in work.
God. I need a breather after that. That was such an outplay on every level from Town, able to perfectly execute that 1v1 solo kill. I need a replay of that as soon as this game calms down. But Aaron's going mid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Robbie Bob didn't have Ignite, but
What
here we go. Robbie Bob wants it, but that flash is much to his dismay. Thankfully, Kitsuo is
Robbie?
there.
Oh my gosh, that is an aggressive play. This game is just explosive right off the bat, Travesty. We're not taking a second to pause in this game. I love it. I love it. Players bringing it. A potential, series-ending match with Team Pending being up 1-0. Both teams fighting tooth and nail. Robbie Bob, it's not the start you want on Yone, but you have a CS lead. You're able to crash your wave. The flash being burnt, I think, is the part that stings the most because that was burnt for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, it was burnt for completely nothing. Didn't get anything out of it. Here we go. Here's
damage.
The play, but Trevor has access to
Baco!
the backline. They are trying to see if they can get onto Aaron, but they get baited, baby. Baco finds the kill.
Yeah, that is huge because not only do they get the kill onto Masu, look at this wave. This wave will be frozen for Trevor and Aaron, and there is no flash on Masu to try and break it. Baco recalling, going topside. He's not going to be able to threaten another gank because he's not down there, but just the fact that the fear lives within Masu that he could be ganked on this frozen wave should be enough to make sure that CLG accrues a nice bottom lane advantage here off that play.
But scary thing is happening. Kitsuro is farming. He's getting a lot of farm while this is all happening. And he is getting closer to that level 6 mark. Here we go. A play onto this Wukong, trying to catch him out. Karthus is very aggressive in the right hands. There's nothing that can be stopped.
Yeah, no Malphite ultimate, no Akali ultimate. Kitsuo knows he can just walk in scot-free, and little bit of poke coming down from Masu and Shuki's on the Lucy and Nami. It does really feel like they're uncomfortable on this pairing because, going back to that skirmish that just occurred where Masu died during the gank, and then going back to the first fight that happened in the bot lane, Masu is not playing as aggressive as you want an Ignite, press the attack Lucy into play. He can one-shot people, and he kind of is dealing a ton of damage and then backing off because I think he's not realizing he's going to deal a ton of damage. So we're going to have to see if whether or not he can, get a little bit more comfortable on that pairing. Town's looking to go in.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Robbie Bob, you got to come back, buddy. He's going to have the shuriken toss. He calls it. You ain't going nowhere. Flawlessly
it's so
executed. Clean. Town finds another solo kill.
It is just so unbelievably clean from Town in the mid lane. We saw he was doing these kind of things last game, but his team was weighing him down. This game, CLG Faith playing so well just across the board, right? Bot lane is stable. Top lane is stable. Baco's gotten himself a kill in the jungle, and now Town can really strut his stuff. Masu looking for some more burst.
Yeah, Trevor does have the Ignite used on him. Masu's not going to get the kill. Get Zuo, though. He's waiting. He's got Requiem, and he's ready to utilize that passive if the time comes for it. The wall of pain has been put down. They know that the Karthus is here. They're looking for the dive, but the bubble connects onto Aaron. Aaron gets a little bit of healing. The stun was there as well. They get one kill. They have to run for the hills. Requiem has been used. Chookies will be able to get the distance needed to survive.
I don't really know whether or not that was worth it for Team Pending. Sure, you burn Malphite TP, but you're trading 1 for 1. You're losing a couple of summoners as well, the exhaust, the heal. And now Baco can start up this dragon, and you've got a team composition that has a Senna, and you're stacking dragons. Things are looking good, and we see Kitsuo walk in for this. I don't really see the purpose for this, right? You have Shen ultimate. Maybe they're thinking that that is actually going to be the difference here. But as soon as Kitsuo pulls aggro, right, Chuki drops aggro, Kitsuo pulls aggro, and he's just dead instantly, right? Patch 12.10 has actually increased the damage that towers deal because Riot thought that turret dives were snowballing the game too hard, and I don't know if that's worth for Team Pending. I think they're bailed out by the fact that Draco burns his TP because look at all the minions he's missing. Now Topo can also get 2 plates. So all in all, after everything is said and done, it's actually probably a pretty even trade, maybe favoring Team Pending a little bit more.
Gold rate, though, is still in the favor of CLG Fave, especially with Town having a great performance. Has the most gold inside of the game here, and oh my gosh. Immediately, Town, every time we go in here, I feel like we're just getting clips for Town's highlight reel. And this is why that, this is a good example of why, you know, CLG fell. They looked at a bunch of amateur players. They wanted talent to be able to grow themselves, and Town is showing exactly why they had their eye on them.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, right? CLG, having talked to their manager, Myra, they were looking for players that are moldable, that are able to be developed, that have a good starting base, right? And Town is exactly that. All of the players on this roster are exactly that, right? High challenger, very skilled mechanical players, a lot of them with very little experience at this level, and Town is showing that he deserves a spot on an LCS affiliate amateur team, right? He is playing so unbelievably well right now. Into Robbie Bob, who we've hyped up as sort of this, you know, grandfather of amateur, somebody that's been around for a while. He's been on so many teams, he's been in so many tournaments, and Town's really showing him up so far.
Yeah, the new kid on the block, taking him for a wild ride on a champion that is, as you were talking about, one of his favorites to play, his comfort zone. And we see a bit of a trade, but Robbie Bob, recognizing that he was in danger, immediately ulting out.
Yeah, both mid laners exchanging ultimate. Kitsuo, maybe? He's just going to go for the crab. I thought he was going to go for some cheeky little play there. And all being said, there's not really a massive lead for either side now. I think this early game hinges on where Baco can take and use the Rift Herald, right? Because if he can get that gold onto Town, onto Aaron, things are looking really good. But, that being said, Kitsuo knows that, and he's guarding Robbie Bob.
Yeah, well, Robbie Bob needs to guard himself right now. He is taking way too much damage. The Ignite is there. Tick, tick, burn away. And Kitsuo trying to find a solo kill. Will find himself dropped instead. Kitsuo has the Shen ult.
Oh, Shen ultimate.
United they stand. The taunt isn't there. And the matchup between ninjas will be delayed for another day.
So many tools burnt. Yeah, Money Karthus, baby. Trying to get that first strike money. I like it. He doesn't really need his ultimate. It's going to be up for the dragon.
He's going for Leandri's, by the way, instead of Luden's build. He's not going for the Magic Pen variant.
Yeah, I guess trying to deal as much damage as possible to the Tahm Kench, to the Malphite, trying to get that percentage HP damage coming in as soon as possible. But I really do think CLG Face should be incredibly happy with this early game.
Look at this.
Big burst.
Yet again, though, the aggression comes in, and check out what immediately has to happen. Masu has to flash away. Even though Aaron looks like he's the worst from the trade, its summoner's constantly blown when Masu goes in.
Yeah, and sure, they're getting these great trades like you're highlighting. They're not actually finishing off any kills, really. It's just one kill for the Lucian, and in this lane, you do get outscaled. So you need to make sure that you're actually generating a bigger lead than this, and I think at this point, CLG Faith is fine with how the bot lane's going. They're not, like, winning the bot lane, but the fact that you're not losing is a win in and of itself.
Yes, not losing, you know, usually the opposite of that is winning. So they'll take that. I'd be more than happy with that result. And this Tahm Kench is doing his job. Trevor's doing a great job being very aggressive on this champion, which is something I really want to highlight. It takes quite an aggressive mindset to play this out correctly, and Trevor's doing just that. As you can see, Robbie Bob does finally get a catch onto Town, but it's not enough to do enough damage. It's just a small little chunk.
Yeah, the Yone feels so tough to play at this point, right? He's got just scraps in his inventory. A Vamp Scepter, a few little components in the completed boots compared to Town, who is about to finish his first mythic item and has completed boots as well on top of that. And he's getting Rift Herald. So all of this just goes to show that Robbie Bob is really not having an amazing game 2. We've hyped him up to be this guy who's able to play all these champions so well, and the
Masu.
Yone falling a little bit short.
Masu, good dodge on Trevor. But Aaron is there to make sure that the pain is healed away. And this does mean a dragon off the aggression that was shown in the bot lane. This Wukong will easily secure it.
Yeah, Baco securing dragon, getting objectives for his team. And like I was saying earlier, you've got a good scaling composition with the Senna, with the Tahm Kench, with the Wukong, Malphite, all of these champions that are really good in team fights. And you've got 2 dragons to boot. You've got some tower plates under your belt. You can't really ask for a better early game. So now it comes down to the mid game execution for CLG. How are you going to snowball this lead into making sure that Team Pending has no breathing room to get back into the game?
Yeah, and you can even see the gold lead has been completely in favor of CLG Faith and ever since the beginning of this game. It hasn't been an immense lead. They haven't been able to ever expand it, and it's even slumped at times. They are still getting this aggressiveness, and Masu taking a heaping amount of damage on that trade, and it doesn't look like he put out any in regard. Treble able to soak up all that damage.
Yeah, the Tahm Kench is a beefy boy at this point. You've got the plated steel caps, the Balmy Cinder. The Lucian had his time in this lane to aggress, to look for one-shots, and that window has long passed, right? It pretty much needs to be a misplay from Aaron for them to have any chance to be getting kills in this bot lane anymore. The Tahm Kench Devour's online, right? So if you find the burst onto Aaron, he can just eat Aaron, keep him at arm's length, and keep him nice and safe. Kitsuo, though, farming up on the Karthus, it does have a gold lead and is able to, counter jungle a couple of camps right here. So I think Kitsuo is the saving grace for Team Pending.
Yeah, I mean, you can see one of the advantages of Karthus jungle and why it's such a strong pick in a lot of experienced hands. He is clearing camp so fast on this Karthus that he is actually having to pause and wait to clear his camps again. We actually saw that a little bit earlier at the Dragon Pit where he was clearing his blue buff. He had to wait. There was no other camps available. He's clearing so fast that he's just waiting on the resets to be able to come through as he's going through his pathing. He's even farming the opposing jungle while this is all happening. He is running out of camps to farm on this champion that's just designed to speed run jungle.
First world problems, right? He's running out of camps to farm. He just clears too goddamn fast. Rift Herald secured. Yeah, the struggle is real. Robbie Bob caught out. Town looking to go ham.
Town was looking for a play. He's went on to 3 different members now, and Kitsuo is the next one. A beautiful ultimate by Robbie Bob. An abyssal voyage later, an unstoppable force meets the Karthus. Requiem comes in, but doesn't finish off any kills. Draco's in the back line. He is in too deep. It will be a 1-for-2.
Yeah, it really did feel like Team Pending was going to get a couple more kills there. That team fight started off very explosively. Town just knowing his limits on the Akali, going super far forward, very deep into the fight, but like you said, 2-for-1, CLG Faith coming out on top again, and on top of getting the kill lead from that team fight, they also take the mid lane tier 1, which is huge, right? Ooh, Masu trying his best to find a little angle. Aaron, maybe with a root.
Yeah, he's going to be able to find it. This is going to be a root, and this is going to be a guaranteed kill here. Masu has nowhere to go. Town
the ignite?
The kill, but the ignite is there, but it just runs out.
That would have been huge. A 400 gold shutdown onto the Lucian would have been massive for him to get back into this game, but alas, not in the cards for Team Pending. That is now a 3,000 gold lead for CLG Faith. They're going to be able to get their second items online soon. Third Dragon coming up very soon, and look at that gold. Kitsuo is very farmed up, but Town is just so fed.
Yeah, Town is incredibly fed. 4-0-1. It's actually funny that the Karthus is so close in gold to him when he's 0-2. Right? Like,
yeah,
this is what Money Karthus does, baby. It cashes in. But it does kind of go into the things of, yes, Kitsuo is this team's saving grace, but it is a scary situation because you're running into spots where Masu is trying to press any kind of advantage. He is dashing forward and gale forcing to go for kills, and he just can't finish him ever, and he constantly gets punished when he does. It's gotta be disheartening. And now Kitsuo, he's caught out of position. A beautiful ult, but it only hits Trevor. Aaron is in melee range, but he gets into the belly
Kitsuo's
of Trevor.
out.
He finds safety. Kitsuo, he might be out. He will be able to survive. The wall of pain comes in, but the Nami can't say the same. Unstoppable Town. Man, it's Kitsuo drying in the back line. Aaron finds Tapo, and it's Robbie Bob getting spinned upon. A double kill for Draco, and it's only the Lucian left remaining.
CLG Faith showing why viewers should be having faith in them. Town in the mid lane with another massive performance. Bako finding that backline access as well as Draco. And this is what people wanted to see when looking at CLG's amateurs team. Kitsuo, why are you here? Right? There's no camps to farm. Dragon is spawning soon. I understand if you're not trying to fight Dragon that you're in the top side, but that's such an aggressive angle to take. It really does bait the rest of his team into trying to fight alongside him. And just, Town just goes crazy, right? There's nothing in the game that can really keep him in check. No hard crowd control, no damage threats, nothing like that. You really just have exhaust on the Karthus, and that's it. Besides that, Town can just go crazy in these fights, and CLG with the huge win and third Dragon.
Yeah, it's third Dragon. They're now the ones that are at Soul Point, and it's felt like such a controlled game from CLG Faith, right? They haven't accrued like a massive gold lead by any means throughout the game, and this is the largest it's ever been. But here we are, and they have just been on the steady increase, and look at this! Town is just looking to assassinate Robbie Bob. He is 0-5. He's trying to find some way to be able to farm. He is going to have to try and use every ability
with
in
the
his
Shen.
kit. The Shendo comes in and evens the odds. The global coming in. Can Town it stay?
They have to get
the
this.
answer looks like no. Draco tries to save the day, but he is going to be stuck in between a rock and a hard place. He gets taunted, but here we go. Cyclone goes round and round, and Team Pending are able to find one kill on an aggressive Town.
Yeah, they almost get the double shutdown onto Malphite and Wukong as well. This will be bot lane tower secured, which does have an objective bounty on it. And as well, they got the Akali shutdown onto the Karthus, right? So the most fed member of the team gets the shutdown. They're going to be able to get this bot lane turret. Ooh, Robbie Bob, okay, he will go for it. So this is some money in the pockets of Team Pending. Is it enough for them to actually be in the driver's seat? No, it is not. But it is now a 3,000 gold lead, which is a lot more palatable than a 5,000 or 6,000 gold lead like it was previously. Silence across the rift, not too much happening. Both teams really looking to try and just get some farms, secure some CS, maybe push for a turret or two.
I'm noticing a theme here with Team Pending though. They put a lot of value on these globals. Like they're yet again in game number 2. Now they have themselves a Shen Karthus. And you utilize it to be able to come back in plays like that, where even though CLG Faye finds something really aggressive and good for themselves, Team Pending, they know. They're like, okay, we'll just grab ourselves a global and we can just hop onto whoever is getting jumped upon. We can help in those situations.
I'm a little bit curious as to why Kitsuo felt the need to rush the Void Staff this game. Looking over at the itemization on CLG, you've got Frozen Heart, you've got plated steel caps on 4 members, you've got a chain vest, Zanyas, Randuin's. That's a lot of armor, and not really a lot of MR. Just a couple of MR items across the board. So I think as the sole AP threat of your team, it might be a little bit more beneficial to go towards a potential Rabadon, Shadow Flame, that style of just as much damage as possible. But I do think it's a little bit of Kitsuo almost future-proofing his build, because he knows that MR will come in next item. So if he has the Void Staff now, then he doesn't need to build it later. Yeah. It just does seem a little bit interesting, because I think right now you need as much power as possible.
Yeah, especially because you are the strongest member of your team, even though he is 1, 3, and 2. Every time we see the gold graph, he is up there at the very top with this money Karthus. He has the itemization, and he's able to stay on track with everybody inside of this map. Dragon spawns in about a minute here, and this is Soul Point for CLG Faith.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, right? 1 minute until the dragon spawns. CLG Faith able to get themselves into the river, into the blue side jungle for Team Pending currently, and they're setting up vision, right? All they need to do is make sure that they have mid lane shove, that they can clear out some vision in the bottom side, and I would not be surprised to see Team Pending just give this one up, right? they probably don't feel like they're in a spot to fight. Look at Lucian's items. He's at 1.5 items. Yone also at 1.5 items. Really, nobody is on level with their opponent besides Kitsuo on Karthus. Just try and get some objective bounties, get a little bit of gold, maybe get some control towards Baron, try and stall that out, give up the dragon, and just play for a potential Baron or Elder Soul.
Is going to be a tower secured. Soul, it looks like it is on the mind of CLG Faith. They have the ward, they have the vision. But check this out. They are all grouped around this Baron pit area, and CLG Faith is pinging it. They do not want to risk them taking advantage of a momentary lapse. Karthus can actually shred this thing.
Yeah, Karthus certainly can. So great awareness from CLG Faith to realize that's a possibility. However, they do need to make sure that they're still on top of it. I like that they're sending one person to go solo Drake while the rest of the team defends the Baron, because I do think 4 members is plenty enough to scare TBA away, and then you have Bako soloing the dragon. Just make sure you don't get engaged on here and everything should be good.
Everything should be perfect in a perfect world, and it looks like it might just be perfect for CLG Faith. They get Soul uncontested.
Cloud Soul definitely not bad for this composition whatsoever, right? Akali appreciates that. Wukong appreciates that. It is a very nice soul to secure, and it really does just snowball the game even more in their favor. One thing to note, though, is that the gold lead is closing, right? It was 5,000 at one point, and now it's less than 2,000. The objective bounties, the farm, it's been able to slowly close the gold lead over time, and Cloud Soul isn't really adding a ton of value to your combat stats, your combat ability. It's more of like a situational soul. It's not like something like a Infernal Soul that just provides flat value, right? So the fact that Team Pending has closed the gold gap, there is a world where they can pull some sort of a comeback off.
Yeah, and look at this. Robbie Bob getting aggressive.
Land of Town.
Here we go. Kitsuo is here as well. Town
Robbie
taking a good amount of damage. They both go golden. The shield is there. Town survives. He is going to get into the belly of Trevor, and that Requiem will not find him. That is a kill advantage going over to CLG Faith, but the action hasn't stopped just yet. Draco and Topo are fighting bot side. Draco so critically.
Topo!
A shutdown. Go back top side. Coley coming in, and it is going to be Trevor drop.
Masu!
And it's finally Masu finally able to find that aggressive moment for it, and finally gets rewarded with a kill.
That's huge. That's a 600 gold kill onto Topo by taking down Draco, right? And they also secure the kill onto Tahm Kench. They lose Kitsuo as well as Kitsuo's stopwatch, which definitely hurts. But that being said, the gold lead is closing a little bit more. It's now only 1,000 gold, and Masu looking to potentially push him towards the mid lane, although he will probably just base. And I like that Kitsuo was hovering here. If he was not here right away, this would be disastrous, but he's there for the exhaust support, for the general damage. But Trevor's eat here is crucial. It stalls out the Requiem from the Karthus, meaning that Town cannot be traded. Otherwise, this would be a disastrous fight for CLG, but Robbie clipping the tornado onto Trevor. And this has big ramifications for the game, right? This has massive ramifications for the game because you're getting the shutdown onto the Malphite off screen. Masu able to get a kill there as well. Summoners are burnt for a potential Baron play. More gold into the pockets of Team Pending, and now we see CLG, they're trying to up the ante. They're going to go for a Baron pretty soon. They're looking to get some control because they realize this game might be slipping.
Yeah, and do you know why Draco died there, by the way?
Why?
He stopped the Shen ult. Shen ulted in that. That fight could have actually been much worse if it wasn't for Draco. He is an unsung hero, and I will sing his praises in that moment as he stopped a situation from getting disaster-rific. But now it is Baron. CLG Faith are ready to go for it. Trevor on the flank can get a angle onto any key member. Robbie Bob is over here over the wall, will be able to find Trevor, laying a little bit of damage onto him. They are continuing
Trevor's caught.
It is still burning. Trevor is looking to see what he can do. He throws Robbie Bob into the
Robbie!
pit. He is in a terrible place, and he gets dropped. It is still going down. The Requiem is there. It is a Baron secured. Trevor gets hit by the Baron, by the bubble, but they're looking to defend their comrade. They are looking to pursue him, and he say, Team Pendant, you want this action. You can't catch the smoke as they eliminate member 1 by 1. Chuckies is next up on the list. Kitsuo is over the wall dropping Skittles, but it is not going to be anything. They just stopped the back, and now it is a Baron-empowered CLG Faith marching down the mid lane.
And suddenly, out of nowhere, CLG blows open the game. Trevor initially, stopping Kitsuo's base, being a little pesky thorn in his side. Is Leandre's going to do it? Not quite.
It's not enough burn.
Not quite. But CLG there, it really did feel like Trevor was caught out over the wall, but then he turns it on to Robbie Bob, eats him, throws him over the wall, and all of a sudden a flashless Robbie Bob has no way out of the pit and has to go forward, and the fight was just so awkward from there. Ooh, Kitsuo. Maybe? Okay,
he finds
does stop
Draco.
Yeah, but Draco has ultimate and flash. I don't know if Draco ever dies here.
Yeah, he can just ult here. Honestly, like, I would just ult if I was him because they have 2 Cloud Drakes.
That is true.
So, like, yeah, it's something you can't get.
Yeah, and this replay, I mean, this is just where CLG blows open the game. Trevor felt like he was caught out. He eats Robbie Bob, throws him over the wall, and this is huge, right? Because CLG knows at this point the game is slowly slipping away. They're letting Karthus farm up. They're letting Robbie Bob get back into the game by farming up in the side lane. And they felt pressured to go for the Baron right then and there. And they actually pull it off. They have good objective setup, good smite. They zone Kitsuo away, and they play the team fight to perfection.
Yes. And you can actually see Kitsuo wasn't a part of that fight at all. He ulted from mid lane and then tried to do a wraparound for a flank, got spotted on a ward, and then they fought him like that. Like, that was actually so beautiful from CLG to just constantly assess the biggest threat from Team Pending.
Yeah, they played that team fight out as well as you could ever want them to, and this is a perfect pick onto Kitsuo. There's nothing he can do about this.
Stand United used, but he goes down swinging. Tapo tries to see if he can find something in the midst of them all. Hourglass is being used. Town goes in, and Shen is next up.
Here goes Town.
Comes forward, and Shookies, you get dropped as well. Masu is next on the chopping block. Finds safety under the tower, but it is a temporary refuge as Draco finishes them off, and now it's just Robbie Bob in the stomach of Trevor yet again. It is not where Robbie Bob wants to be. Trevor just a nuisance. CLG Faith say welcome to church, and they are going to find themselves game number 2.
CLG with their backs against the wall, much like their OQ run, able to pull out a very decisive game 2 victory, right? The gold lead was pretty close, but they always had the dragons, they always had the map control, and they were able to close it out with a very, very clean Baron fight. And that's what you want to see from these young players, from these developing amateur players, that they're not flustered when they're down 1-0. They're not flustered when they fall behind in a game or the game's not going their way. They clutched it out. That was really, really good, and we're on to a game 3.
We're on to a game 3. We're going to go ahead and take ourselves a short break so that way we can get ourselves ready for game number 3 between these two teams. So make sure you do not touch that browser.